Have snow plows that plow your driveway. The plows can't take the snow across the street and put it on the other side.
Mr. Piero.
Thank you, Ms. Morita.
Please.
17 Roger Circle. Mr. Morita, I've seen enough. People have a garage, a driveway. They park the cars outside. The snow goes by. They come out next day. They throw the snow on the street, and they pull the car away. I'm glad this Saragao will go through. This is not right. And this is a big people now, not children with a bike.
On the motion, which is to amend the town's bylaw, is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Over here. Gentleman from the Planning Commission.
Warren Pierce from the Community Planning Commission. It seems to me that could create a few difficulties with this, but the primary thing that I don't see, especially in section A and B, is any kind of a time frame. In other words, if they come back 2 months later and shovel that snow, there's nothing here that says they can't wait that long. There's no there's no limit to the time frame. Before you could find somebody on this, it would be necessary to say you didn't do it in what time frame.
Mr. Giorgio has an answer for you, Mr. Pierce.
Mr. Moderator, through you to the previous speaker, subsection A talks about exerting reasonable effort, and I would interpret reasonable as having a temporal component, meaning that it would be unreasonable to wait until the snow melted.
Does the lady from the Commission on Disabilities stand to be recognized? No? No? Okay. Then we'll take the, oh, you're still busy, you're still not done. Okay, Mr. Pierce.
That was a little further than what I had anticipated, but I thought that maybe if you have business, for example, that are closed on Sunday and it snows on Sunday, I mean, I don't know if it's clear enough that they should, within what time frame, other than, what is reasonable mean they come in on Monday morning and clear it, or should it be cleared while the storm is going on? I think that it leaves it open-ended. It may create a problem. That was my own. The planning board in general is in favor of this article, but we just thought that perhaps it should have some time frames in them to give people direction as to, especially the commercial people, so that they would know that if they're not going to be in there and it snows, they have an obligation to have someone there to clear that sidewalk, because other businesses may be open. I think that was the intent.
Gentleman at the microphone, please state your name and address, sir.
Bill Waterhouse, 88 Chestnut Street. My concern is if I have a private tow company plow my driveway and they deposit the snow across the street, who is responsible for that? I don't stand out there and watch them. I don't know where they're putting the snow. If they pushed it off to the side and the way is now clear, is that okay? I mean, because they obviously don't leave it in the middle of the street.
Mr. Giorgio? I guess the question relates to the meaning of the bylaw.
Mr. Moderator, as I understand the question, it's who is responsible for a violation under subsection C? And subsection C says that no person shall lay, throw, or place to be caused snow in any portion of the street. So if you hire a private contractor to plow your driveway, it would seem to me that he or she is the one who is actually placing the snow in the street. So certainly that person would be liable. If this were a repeated circumstance and you as the homeowner did not take steps to rectify that situation by giving instruction to the operator, then I could conceive of a situation where the homeowner would be liable as well, having caused the person to do that. But the primary responsibility is with the operator of the snowplow.
Gentleman at the microphone, please state your name and address, sir.
Steve Schuler, 121 Chestnut Street. As the owner of a small commercial property downtown, one that has a small footprint for stowing away snow, and who has tried in good faith to keep the sidewalks clear, I think we're opening up a can of worms here. I think on some days you can plow your sidewalk a half dozen times a day and never keep up with it. If you have a tight footprint that's right close to, and a sidewalk close to the street, every municipal plow comes through, fills your sidewalk up again. where do you reach the point where you put your hands up and say, enough's enough, I'm going to wait till it's over? I think that anyone can come by and say, you're in non-compliance, you should be fined or warned. I just think we're getting into an area where we may not want to be.
Madam, please, go ahead.
I have to disagree. Some people will impact harder than other people, but this is a big problem for pedestrians in this town trying to walk from home, not trying to drive, but trying to walk, being accessible to businesses in town and trying to get to businesses in town, and they can't walk to businesses in town because there are mounds of snow blocking. One of the things with reasonable was that if we have a blizzard like 1978, it's not reasonable for you to get it done within 24 to 48 hours. That's unreasonable. But it's very reasonable to get it when you plow your driveway. It's very reasonable to plow your sidewalk access and keep that area clear. That, to me, is reasonable. Is there different interpretations? Yes. But if we don't address it, I have been pushing strollers through mounds of snow, unsafe, in May. And I just think it's ridiculous that people block sidewalks and they don't clear sidewalks. It's a community issue. It's a safety issue. And people should take responsibility for it. They're not taking responsibility for it.
Gentlemen at the microphone, we've already heard from you, but please briefly to answer a question.
By example, is the town exempt from this by any chance? I ask that specifically because each winter when I walk my children down to school, the people that plow the roadway for the school or the town block the walkway, and we have to walk into the area onto the street where the buses turn right directly into us. So is the town exempt from this? Because I would like to really put some pressure on them to plow the streets as this is required. We're talking about businesses here. Are the towns exempt from this?
Mr. Giorgio, would you be able to tell us whether this bylaw would obligate the town?
Mr. Moderator, through you to the previous speaker, it depends. Subsection C specifically refers to private plows. So obviously, any person, if the town is plowing the street or if it's being plowed under contract with the town, that would not be, in my opinion, a private plow, so subsection C wouldn't apply to the town. There is a overarching obligation on the part of the town to keep public ways open especially during snow emergencies. And so if we had a 24-inch snowstorm that came down in 6 hours, and the town plows were out plowing, I don't think that this bylaw would act to prohibit the town from taking all steps necessary to keep the public ways open to the public. Again, you have to look at the term reasonable and reasonable effort in the context of the town as well as private plowing.
Excuse me, but we keep coming up with examples of why we don't have to and why we should and so on. This is just a simple thing. Plowing every time there's a snowstorm, we should plow or we should shovel. We shouldn't be coming up with excuses of why we can't and who's not responsible. Okay? Shovel.
You've had your term, sir. Please state your name and address, sir.
Carl Johnson, 9 Washington Street. I move the question.
The motion is to terminate debate on Article 3. On the motion to terminate debate, which requires a 2/3 majority, it's a motion after the motion to terminate debate has been passed, those who are the proponents of the article have 2 minutes to wrap up their case under our bylaws. So on the motion to terminate debate, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Mr. Do you wish to have your 2 minutes to wrap up your case? No. Okay. On the main motion, which is an amendment to the town code, the general bylaws, this requires a simple majority. On the motion under Article 3, does anybody wish me to read the motion over again? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. The motion is carried. Article 4. Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Moderator, I move to pass over Article 4.
The motion is to pass over Article 4. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of passing over Article 4, please say aye. Those opposed? Carried. Article 5.
Mr. Moderator, I move to increase the FY 2003 operating budget by the sum of $213,785, and that said sum be raised and appropriated from the tax levy, and by the sum of $92,101, and that said sum be appropriated and transferred from cell tower revenue.
In case you hadn't caught that, the motion is to takes care of the entirety of Article 5 with all the line items as specified in the warrant, I guess. The motion is to increase the fiscal 2003 operating budget by $213,785 to be raised and appropriated from the tax levy, and $92,101 to be appropriated and transferred from the cell tower revenue. Does the Finance Committee have a recommendation? Mr. Sturtevant.
Mr. Moderator, as an omnibus article, we oppose this. We would like to see this viewed line by line.
Okay, the Finance Committee recommends that that we deal with the article line by line. Is the Board of Selectmen prepared to do so if the meeting votes to go line by line? The chair will bow to the wishes of the meeting. The question that has been raised by the Finance Committee is they prefer to see the article dealt with line by line. The Board of Selectmen wishes to deal with it in toto. Is there any discussion on the question on how to deal with the article, line by line or in total? Hearing none. All those in favor of dealing with the article line by line, please say aye. Aye. Those in favor of dealing with the article in toto, so that the lines are not separated out, please say aye. Aye. The motion is to go the vote is to go line by line. Could the chair please provide me with a motion to go line by line? Mr. Murphy.
Mr. Moderator, I would like to ask the indulgence of the voters for 10 minutes or less so that I can make a short presentation prior to dealing with each line item. Thank you.
Chairman of the Board of Selectmen has requested leave to of the meeting for 10 minutes for making a presentation. On the request for leave of the meeting, all those in favor of giving the Board of Selectmen 10 minutes for a presentation, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The motion is carried. Mr. Murphy, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you. I just wanted to run through the numbers briefly. As you may recall, we had a difficult budget process this past April, and we do have additional funds today as a result of changes in state aid. And I wanted to run through what we looked at in April and then what we're looking at today to set the record straight so that people know where we stand, and so people know what's likely to happen as we move forward. This is a state aid fact sheet. The FY03 state